Hi, I'm Eric the Security Guy. A disaster recovery plan, or DRP for short, outlines the steps an organization will take to restore critical systems in the event of a disaster. The goal of a DRP is to minimize the impact of a disaster on the organization and ensure that critical systems can be restored as quickly as possible. The process of creating a DRP is similar to creating a business continuity plan, or BCP for short. The important difference is that while a BCP focuses on maintaining critical business processes, the DRP focuses on technical restoration of IT systems. In large organizations, BCPs and DRPs are usually created by separate teams, and there may be separate plans for each line of business or geographic location. However, in small businesses, which are many of my customers, the same core team is often responsible for executing both the BCP and the DRP. Rather than maintaining two overlapping plans, I often combine the plans into a single document. However, it's still important to clearly delineate business continuity and disaster recovery plans. I used separate chapters. As I discussed in a previous video, the starting point is the business impact analysis, which identifies critical information systems. Some may be specifically identified in the report, such as a SaaS provider's core product. Others may be identified by IT teams as supporting critical business functions that are included in the BIA. As part of the BIA, we identify the maximum tolerable downtime, recovery time objective, and recovery point objective. The RTO can prioritize disaster recovery efforts if multiple systems are impacted, and the RPO, among other things, allows us to determine if existing backup processes are sufficient to support the DRP. At this point of a DR plan development, there's an important decision to be made. Some organizations will list all their information systems in the DRP and include specific recovery procedures for each. Others will develop a general process that is applicable to all systems and then require the owners or administrators of those systems to maintain detailed technical recovery plans. While either approach works, my preference is usually the latter. As an example, for a small SaaS provider with a DevOps group, in my opinion, it makes more sense for the DevOps group to maintain recovery procedures in whatever format works best for them and be able to update it as easily as possible. It often turns out that the recovery procedure is similar or very close to their regular development process with the addition of restoring data from backups. To ensure that the plan can be executed efficiently, it's important to communicate the plan to all team members and provide training on their roles and responsibilities, as well as the plan itself. Regular disaster recovery tests are important to ensure that the plan is effective and to identify opportunities for improvement. This can be accomplished using formal walkthroughs, tabletop exercises, or full-scale simulations. It's important to review and update the DRP on a regular basis to ensure that it remains relevant and effective. Some other things to keep in mind when creating a DRP are: include a list of all core and supporting team members and their contact information in the plan. Don't rely on being able to look up that information in company systems during a disruption. It also helps to include a list of key third-party contacts, including cloud service providers. Having telephone, email, account numbers, and other information required to obtain support during a crisis is invaluable. Involve key stakeholders. It's important to involve key stakeholders in the DRP process, including senior management, human resources, legal, financial, communications, of course IT, and any other relevant departments. A DRP needs to remain flexible and be able to adapt to different types of disruptions. DRP could be invoked due to natural disaster or in response to a cyber attack or hardware failure. Have a communications plan. Communications plans should be in place to ensure that employees, customers, and other stakeholders are kept informed in the event of a disruption. Everyone should clearly understand who is responsible for that communication, especially with customers, shareholders, law enforcement, and other external parties. In smaller organizations, a lot of this information may be the same for the BCP and the DRP, which is one of the reasons I often put both plans in the same document. In addition to recovering systems, DR plans should clearly address migrating to or rebuilding systems at a backup site and, where applicable, returning to the original location once a disaster is over. Creating a disaster recovery plan is a critical step in ensuring an organization can restore important systems in the event of a disaster. By identifying critical systems, developing recovery strategies, providing training, and testing the plan, organizations can reduce the impact of a disaster on their operations and ensure that critical systems can be restored as quickly as possible to support the business. Thank you so much for watching. Please help me out by liking this video and subscribing to my channel. As always, if you have any questions or would like to suggest a topic for a future video, please leave a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. See you soon.